Hello and welcome back to another episode of Nick Tiffany's Movie Reviews, coming at you online and in print format at nicktiffany.com, in audio wherever you get your podcasts, and even in video on YouTube. Today we are talking Anatomy of a Fall. This has been high up on my list, not only just for foreign releases of the year, but for something that, by the end of the year, it's like, gotta see this. I've just heard exceptional things. This film won the Palme d'Or, which is kind of the grand prize at the Cannes Film Festival over in France, the most prestigious award they can give each year. So usually that festival is a fairly good indicator of things to watch out for. Yes, a lot of it is what Americans would consider foreign. There are some US films that choose to release then as well, and you can kind of keep an eye on some of those. The US films did not play nearly as well, I would say, this year at Cannes. So I was really looking forward to this, especially after seeing Passages, which had won a lot at Sundance, another French release that just really kind of underwhelmed and disappointed me, I would say. So I was really looking forward to seeing this film. I'd heard such wonderful things about it. I've heard it's a very complex story, and I could certainly attest to that. The basic matter here is you've got Sandra, who is played by Sandra Voiter, who's played by Sandra Hüller in real life. She's a writer, I wouldn't say a very famous one, but she's certainly well-renowned enough. She's taught classes. She's got a young son, and she lives with her husband, Samuel, as well. She invites over a young writer, an interviewer, college student to her place out in France, up in the snow. And while she's not able to really finish an interview because of Samuel's working upstairs and all his music, hey, you know what? We'll scrap this. We'll do it another time. I think I'm going to go lie down. Clearly he's working. We're not going to get anything done here. The two have a son, Daniel, who's partially blind, takes the dog out to go for a walk while all the music's blaring and mom's trying to get her work done. And upon returning home with the family dog, Daniel sees Samuel, his body lying out on the ice, head cracked open, blood everywhere, the attic window ajar on top of their house. He calls for his mom as the music's still playing. Eventually, Sandra comes out. To her horror, finds her husband dead on the street and immediately calls for the paramedics. And that's kind of where I'll leave things, because I went blind pretty much into this movie. I knew probably there would be some detective work. I'd heard there was some kind of legal courtroom stuff, but man, I was not prepared for the depth of both the forensic analysis, every way that they kind of looked at potentially how the husband could have fallen out. Was he attacked beforehand and thrown out? Measuring different circumstances with the weather, distance, all these kinds of things, and just the detail of trying to collect the evidence before making a ruling as to whether or not, yes, can we rule that he fell, or is there foul play? And if there's even the slightest doubt of foul play, we need to go to the courts. We need to start gathering stories and let a jury of our peers kind of decide what's going on. And so, as an American watching the French kind of handle all of this, the detective work was fascinating. I think a lot of true crime podcasts do an interesting and well enough job talking about different theories as to how someone might have died or something could have happened. And it was cool to see here that, I'm not saying it's not a part of American detective standard procedure, but as far as what the French were showing in this film as to all the different ways they were looking at how this body could have fallen, impacted where, different circumstances that could have attributed certain injuries, bruisings, and it was just really, the attention to detail was great. And obviously this comes, the family is the one that really has to deal with all of these investigators, recreations of maybe how the fall happened, trying to stifle through their testimony, uncover holes, get their facts straight. And it's tough because obviously the family is dealing with something horrific, and they're grieving, they're trying to grieve, but this process is moving along at such a pace where it feels like, all right, well, now we've got all these people in our home trying to recreate his fall, trying to understand exactly what happened, picking apart our relationship now. And then when you sort of move into more of that courthouse stuff, it really becomes, all right, now more than just dirty laundry is being aired. And we're really getting an interesting look at the couple behind the scenes. And like a lot of courthouse cases, half the time it's not even totally about the truth. The perception of you, your character, your relationship with the deceased, however, all of that comes into question. Your character comes into question, and most of that is what's being judged by. And so the film just takes this slippery slope of different investigations, different legal battles, the performances in this movie. This is like, for me, like a prime SAG ensemble nomination. There's not a bad performance in this film. This actor Swan Arlaud, who plays Vincent, who's a good friend of Sandra's, who she kind of hires as a lawyer once she kind of figures out, okay, maybe I should have someone helping me out. If the police are going to keep talking to me, I think I need someone to help me make sure everything's straight. Vincent as a character was just really intriguing because it's also this side of, yes, of course, I'm your friend. I will help you. It's my duty. But we really need to get this story straight because it doesn't look good for you. And I'm not saying I believe you did this, but if I were other people, the doubt is already cast in my mind. So we're already working against that perception. You know, she's kind of a colder character, especially in the relationship she had. She was certainly the more serious, stern of the two. And it just becomes this interesting side of, all right, well, how can we showcase your character, or how do we protect your image, regardless of what may come out, so that we don't steer their thoughts elsewhere. And you've got Antoine Reinhardt, who plays the advocate general for the French court, kind of the prosecutor. And like, for me, you know, an actor is doing a phenomenal job when you were just so frustrated by them, because his prosecutor, the cross-examination he's doing, the inferences he's making, the things he's trying to catch people up on, I mean, it's just ruthless. The guy does not let up, whether he's talking to the son Daniel, to Sandra, to other witnesses. I mean, he is trying to make the broadest implications from the smallest little facts or thoughts. And it's frustrating and it's fascinating watching him and Vincent go back and forth with these two lawyers and how they're able to tell a story or weave the audience in and out. I don't want to call it manipulation, but what they were both able to do, it was nothing short of incredible, but also has you in certain moments like, okay, well, I get why he's pushing so hard for this, because this should be a simple answer. So why is it not? Or why don't we know exactly if you remember you were there or not? So there are just so many brilliant moments in this film that really cause you to understand both sides, to look at the broader picture and realize maybe we do need to know these people better than what they are telling us, or, you know, oh, we were fine on the surface, like any trouble, like any couple, we had our troubles, you know. But once you actually dive into those troubles, way more is revealed. And that's where, I mean, this film gets juicy, it gets confronting in a lot of ways. It's very human, just in its dissection of power between helplessness and hopelessness, and how it looks at that versus, you know, you need to help yourself, don't rely on others, and just makes a ton of different arguments all at the same time, in my opinion, for and against who we are as people. You know, I think especially after you have children as well, you start living so much of your life for them. That's something that's definitely touched on here. I'm not saying it causes issues in relationships, but if two people don't change much and they don't talk about some of that change, perhaps you could harbor resentment. You could have feelings that sit there and gestate and just, they could drive you crazy. And so when certain things might be revealed in the film that maybe you thought were different, or, oh, on the surface it looked one way, you have no idea. And this film does such a great job keeping you guessing, keeping you wondering, feeling like you don't totally know. number one, how it's going to end. Is she guilty? Is she not guilty? What really happened? And if she is, how did it happen? Why did it happen? But if she's not, then what really went on then? And for 2.5 hours, I mean, I was just like glued to my seat. It was a weird situation where I got in like right before the movie started. I was like, okay, you know what? Maybe I'll go get water or something at concessions. Nope. I mean, from the second the movie started, it was like, okay, I'm in. From the original score and some of their intro music, it was just like, all right, we're in for something kind of chilling here. And I completely understand all the accolades that were thrown this film's way. It is certainly, for my money, one of the best movies of the year, undoubtedly. It's one that I can't wait till it comes out on. It'll probably be releasing the movie or some other different streaming services, but this is one I will certainly champion for the rest of the year. Performances just top notch. The direction and the script, both from Justine Triet, phenomenal. Just the confidence in these characters, in certain close-ups that just stick with you, monologues and stories of humanity in different moments that just break your heart. I mean, the human experience is on full display here amid this courtroom detective study. It's thrilling stuff. It's insanely interesting. And yeah, for my money, one of the best of the year. You absolutely have to check it out. And if you want to stay tuned for some more movie reviews, all other movie commentary, we're moving into the awards season. So it's only going to be a lot of heavy hitters coming up, I have a feeling. You got to stay tuned. NT Movie Reviews on all social media networks, podcast platforms, and on YouTube. As always, I always appreciate you guys listening in, and we'll see you next time.